Hello everyone and welcome to my PEC reflection video where I essentially reflect on the subject oral communication skills. My name is Rwan Oday Abdulrazak, so let's get into it. What were the three main things I learned in this subject? Well, I learned the importance of nonverbal communication, such as things like body language. I learned the importance of creativity in communication, like the talk show project. I found that was a pretty interesting way to be creative. The importance of lighthearted conversation in classrooms. I did enjoy that aspect. It seemed like the classrooms had a bit more, less weight to them, and that sort of brought new opportunities for lightheartedness, which is new, and most certainly a good thing. What was new or surprising to me? Well, I would say the openness of the lecturer with the students. I found that she was incredibly genuine and seemed to care a lot about the students, and that was incredibly refreshing, and that surprisingness was quite nice actually. What have I changed my mind about as a result of this subject? Well, I would say that I quite enjoy laid back classes. I'm not used to them at all actually, but they do make me enjoy the subject, and I do feel like it almost incentivizes me to do more work or to work harder for assignments and projects and stuff like that related to the subject, because the laid back energy allowed me to explore more creative avenues, and I found that to be a positive. Based on this session, what are the areas which I need to develop further? Well, I would say mostly my own oral communication skills. This subject has helped me a lot with things like stuttering. I've had to practice a lot for the project, so my stuttering has reduced quite a bit, because I do tend to, especially when I go blank, I go a lot like that. I've made progress though, and I hope to continue progressing in the future, but I kind of wish I would have perhaps developed some strategies or something like that, other than just practice. I'm still unsure about some issues. What are they? Well, I would say perhaps mismanagement, or the class was a little too laid back sometimes. I do feel like it being laid back and to some degree is good, but perhaps it overextended itself, especially when it comes to things like deadlines, and because they were sudden, and that was incredibly stressful. What is one thing that I most disliked about this subject? I guess you could say the mostly mismanagement in things like weekly activities, or the project or the portfolio video, because there were some things, like some aspects of the video, that were incredibly sudden, and we didn't know that they were supposed to be included until like a little bit before the deadline, and that caused a lot of stress on my group members especially, and that sort of disorganization is never good, so I didn't really like that. Some of the miscellaneous or interesting facts I learned this lesson, well, I guess you could say that lectures can still be fun. I mean, growing up, I was told that college was just going to be the serious, very unentertaining thing, and you're gonna have to lock in, and if you hate it, you gotta deal with it. But this class seemed to be quite interesting. It felt not less serious, but fun, creative, and it felt like it had room to breathe, and that was incredibly refreshing, and I absolutely loved that. The three issues that interested me, that I would perhaps have liked more detailed explanation for: written communication. I wish we could have elaborated more on that, because I don't know why written communication is under oral communication, but if it is, I'd have liked to know more about it. That's one thing. Another thing, like I said, the mismanagement with things like deadlines, that was a huge issue that I would have really wanted to have been cleared up earlier, for the sake of me and my classmates as well. The third thing, I guess I would have wished that my lecturer would have elaborated more on oral communication, or perhaps organized more events. So perhaps going to a talk about oral communication, for example, under PEC. That would have been interesting, because we didn't have any of those this semester, I don't think, and that was quite sad. Those are my three main issues. And if there were any more that I could mention, I guess things like project or portfolio instructions, like I said, there were some elements, like for example, there needing to be a report or a deadline or timing or something like that, that weren't mentioned in the brief, and somehow they were still expected. That like miscommunication caused a lot of distress, and I honestly would have just hoped that it would have been, I guess, mentioned earlier to prevent any undue stress or undue issues like within the group itself. So I think that's all that I really have to reflect about. It's been a really interesting subject. It's given me a lot to think about, and I've learned quite a bit despite everything. So overall, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. So thank you for watching my reflection video. Hope you enjoyed, and bye. Take care.